How are you doing today, Julie?
Oh, I'm good. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing good.
It's
So,
good to see you.
so good to see you. How do you take your coffee in the morning or
I don't.
around noon?
I've never tried coffee. I'm
You've
sorry.
never
I
tried
I should
coffee.
have maybe I should have told you that because this is you probably wouldn't have had me on. You'd be like
I still would have had you on.
you'd be like,
I
"Wait, this
adore
is the
you.
coffee shop. We only serve coffee?" Like, what? You can't be a part of this. It's not.
Well,
Um
I know you start your day with one and a half Eggo waffles and an egg white omelet, but like
close. You're so
close.
close. One and three. It's not one and three
One and
quarters.
three
It's
quarters.
just three quarters. So it's half of one and a half. It's just three quarters.
Okay, three
Three
quarters.
quarters of an Eggo waffle
hmm
and an egg white omelet.
So do you take any caffeine or anything like
Mountain
that,
Dew.
or Mountain Dew?
A small, tiny baby can of Mountain Dew. I've
Gotcha.
worked my way down. It used to be like a 16 ounce, and then it went to 12, and now I'm at 8 or 8.5. I can't remember. I thought it was 10, and then the other day I noticed it said like 8 or 8.5. I was like, dang, I thought it was a whole 10 ounces I was getting, but it's not. It's never quite enough when it's that tiny of a can.
hmm
But I've stepped down from the 12 ounce. I feel like I think 10 ounces would be a good amount, but I don't know. Anyway, yes, Mountain Dew. That's my coffee equivalent.
So why do you eat the same thing every day for every meal, or for breakfast at least?
I love it and it makes me happy and it's nice knowing what I'm going to eat every day. I like that. I love getting up
Mm.
and I make my food and I start the day and I know what it's going to be and it's yummy and it never lets me down and I've never gotten bored of it. And when I do, I'll switch to something else probably if that ever happens. But so far, it is a very fulfilling breakfast slash lunch, because I get up and I eat breakfast for lunch basically.
Because you work
So
from noon till 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll have a break for dinner
Mhm.
and like a hike. I went on a hike this afternoon and I just got in. That's why I probably look like a total mess. I like ended up on this trail and then I was like, we're going to take this shortcut back, but I'd only tried the shortcut at night and ended up having to go. Anyway, but I got back in time. But I didn't have time to like look in a mirror. So I'm probably all covered in like dust and dirt
The
and
camera doesn't show it.
oh, good. Okay. Well, I was hoping it's dark enough in here, but but no. So I will take a break for a walk or a hike and dinner, and then it's back to work again. So back
Awesome.
to work till about 2 a.m. And but then I do try to sleep until noon and get up at noon and eat my Eggo 3/4 Eggo and egg white omelet breakfast slash lunch, and then go right to work. And then like this morning I had a session at 11. They're in Spain and I tried to talk them into doing like a 2 a.m. session or a 3 because it 2 a.m.'s 11 o'clock there.
hmm
And that would have been, not too early for them. But I think they were night owls too and didn't want to do anything before noon. so
Gotcha.
so they're like, so we ended up doing it 11 o'clock my time, which is fine. But I did have to actually break the typical noon thing, and I did a session at 11 this morning, and I had a thing yesterday at 10, and tomorrow I have a noon one. So I've been getting up earlier later, or I mean earlier lately,
Hmm.
um, but if I don't have anything, then my alarm is set to noon. If I don't have any sessions in the morning, so
Awesome. So
that way I can stay up late.
what is your VO origin story? Like, how did you find your way into this industry? Were you in music first?
Yeah, yep. Did
Okay.
music. Um, so so in school I did acting, but also music. Like it was hard to because you only in my school, there's only so many arts classes you could take.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of hard because I always was doing music or drama. And at one school, there wasn't, I had to actually drop, well, I guess I didn't have to. I, no, it's right. Cause I still, it's so confusing there. The way they had it set up at the school I went most of the time. Um, I ended up, it was speech and debate because that didn't actually count as like a theater class. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I was able to still do acting a little bit and because in speech, then we would do storytelling or we would um, do our monologues and things like that. Or you do the duet. I can't remember what they called it. Um, but, but then at the other school, in order to do theater, I had to drop one of my music things. So it was kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of tricky. But anyway, and then after high school, like right after high school, or I guess right after graduating, we got signed to a label, and we were touring. So it was music, 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 and so I didn't, so there was a lot of time where I couldn't pursue anything acting wise. I mean, I guess I could have, but it was hard. We were very focused. It was like the focus was music. That was the thing. We were
Mm-hmm.
constantly either touring or writing. And it wasn't until we had a break after, like, where we had a longer break than usual between releasing albums that I started taking acting classes just to kind of get back into We were living in Dallas, and I didn't know, I didn't know anyone. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll do an acting class, get to meet other actors and everything, and just kind of see what it's like here in Dallas, see what
Mm-hmm.
the acting scene is like, whether it be theater or on camera. But I didn't really want to do on camera. I just liked acting. So uh, one of the one of the teachers that I went to, the coaches I went to, she knew that we had a studio and that I did music, and she knew that I was like not really, that I didn't really like to be on camera, and so she's like, well, why don't you? What about voiceover? You have a studio, right? So you have all the equipment probably, and then you don't have to be on camera, but you can still act. And I was like, what are you talking? What is that a thing you can do like full time? Like you can actually do it as a,
Right.
you know, and and I just my mind was kind of blown, which is crazy because, I mean, I'd done a few voiceover things here and there, but I guess it was just because people would ask, you know, they would need a voice for a game project, just something, or even a trailer, like a game trailer, and it was just like friends projects,
Mm-hmm.
and or like radio, like when we would tour and we would do we'd go to different stations and they would interview the band. They would have us do station IDs. So a lot of times they'd have me do them. Sometimes I would even do them virtually. And so, there were little hints of voiceover here and there, but I just never thought that there was enough work out there that people did it for a career, like full
Mm-hmm.
time, until she said that. And so I was just like, oh my God, like, I don't know. It was just crazy because at that point I was just like full steam ahead with voiceover and like coaching and getting ready, getting demos, and you know, trying to meet other voiceover people, going to, conventions like VO Atlanta I went to, and I felt like the first one I went to, I was like so new. I was like, oh my God, they probably wouldn't even let me in, like because I don't have, I'm so new and all these people have so much experience. Um and anyway, so it was I remember the first year was kind of scary because I had only been, I guess, yeah, I think I'd only been doing it for like 6 months, I guess. And but I already had, quite a few bookings at that point, but I don't think I had an agent yet. Um, I don't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know if I would be welcome in or not, being that I didn't have it, you know. that much experience, but everyone was super welcoming and nice, and made lots of good friends that you started just seeing every year and getting
Hmm.
excited to see them every year. And so anyway, they were very welcoming and very kind. And so yeah, I don't know, I guess that's how I started. I just, once she told me that, the coach told me that, I felt like, I felt a little like, oh my gosh, how did I not know this? You
Hmm.
know, and I wish I would have started sooner. So then I felt like I was trying to run and catch up to something. I don't know what. Like I was just playing catch up, and like and I would just work at it, 16 hours a day. And I actually woke up really early. I actually got out of my normal night owl sleep schedule because I just couldn't sleep, because it was like, wake up, 8 a.m., look and see what jobs there are and what auditions there are and who I can, send my demos off to. And like, and it was just like,
Hmm.
so, it was kind of crazy the first 2 or 3 years, just because I did feel like I was playing catch up, and didn't want to, lose momentum. And but anyway, that's how it all started, because luckily I had a coach who knew we had a studio. Now, granted, I had to buy almost everything brand new, because like the equipment we had for music wasn't exactly fit for, um you know I mean, I guess we had two Rode NT1s that we would use for our music, and that, so at least that was, I think, I mean, it's good enough to start with in a preamp. But it
Right.
wasn't like, it wasn't, eventually it's like, okay, I need a better mic that's a little more sensitive. and
Right.
and you start to, once you start to learn editing, and I had to learn a new program, because we never had used Audition really. And we had Pro Tools, and it's just a little, like multi-track recording type
Hmm.
programs like Pro Tools and Logic. And so so Audition, just learning things like that.
Hmm.
So it was a little bit of a learning curve, and just in, building up to the right type of equipment for voiceover versus music. um, but at least I had something that I could start working with, you know
Hmm.
right away. And so that was good.
So
Yeah.
how are you balancing VO and music now? How are
um
you balancing those two?
we're not doing music as much right now. There's definitely some stuff we need to do. But right now it's more voiceover, full time, and then
Hmm.
music we just fit in when we can, or when someone asks us to do something. So, because I mean, I definitely have been wanting to, do more, and write more. And I mean, I'm still writing all the time, but the problem is I'm just not like putting it all together and finishing everything. So I have all of these songs that are almost done, but it's like I really just need to get the time to actually go in and pick, okay, what songs should we focus on for the next album, and
Hmm.
finish those. And right now I just have this like 40 different songs that I've started and haven't finished, and some have lyrics and some don't. Some just have like two parts, and not,
Right.
um and I don't know. But I just kind of like, for a while we used to pressure ourselves into doing, no, we have to do it, we have to get this out every year on this time, we have to, it's like, not necessarily, it wasn't always like that, but the last two albums was like we did two back to back, one after another. And in a year, and then the next year. And um and it was fine though, because we wanted to do that. But then after that, you're just kind of like, oh, that was exhausting. And then so I'm like, we just need to, we're just do it when we have the want to, when we have the time and we want to. But right now we're both really busy with our own projects. I'm doing voiceover, and he has
Right.
two games going on right now that he's working on, um, coming out this year. So then after
Awesome.
that, we should have time to spend on music again. And we can, and if we need to in between. It's not like we won't, but it's like right now we're just kind of focusing on there's other things that we're focused on right now.
Are you
So
wanting to do more music for games? Because I know you guys have done something for an episode of SpongeBob. You guys have a song in Borderlands 2 and in Borderlands 3. So
yeah,
have you guys thought about doing game focused music?
yeah, I mean that would be fun for sure. And I definitely have an idea for one that I want to do. Um, and but it is fun because sometimes outside of the band I'll get to sing for a game like um There Is No Game, Wrong Dimension. My character Gigi had her own song
Mm-hmm.
that was, you know, we didn't write it, but it was, the game developer actually was a composer before, and then he also worked with a composer, and they created this amazing soundtrack. And so it was fun getting to sing someone else's music for the character. So I love it when I get to do that because it's someone else has written it, and then I
Mm-hmm.
just get to come in and sing, and I don't have the pressure of like everything else, the lyrics being just right, and you know, is is this the right, is this the right ending? Is this so so in that way it's kind of nice, and it's a little more freeing, I guess, in a way, because it's already laid out there and you're just singing as the character. And so that was fun. So and there are other things that I've gotten to sing on, and I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, it's, and then sometimes our music gets used in projects like that as well. Yeah, like the Borderlands 3, there's 5 songs in the game, and then Borderlands 2, there's 3, I think, 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's 3. And yeah, SpongeBob, that was one that we specifically were asked to write for that episode. So it was just written from scratch for it specifically. Whereas the other songs were songs that were ours, that were, that were used. So we had already written those.
How did
So,
that come about?
which,
With them asking you to write a song, like did they already know
oh,
you
the
did they know
SpongeBob.
your music? Did you know anybody on the team previously? How did that happen?
Yeah, just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, Stephen Hillenbrand's, I think it was his assistant or someone that worked very closely with him at Nickelodeon,
Mm-hmm.
reached out to us and said that she was told to track us down and ask us if we would write a song for an episode. And um, she said that we kind of had a guideline of like what mute. So he liked a specific song of
Mm-hmm.
ours, and so we knew he wanted something kind of like that as far as tempo went and
Mm-hmm.
the vibe of it went. And so we kind of used that as a guide as far as, keep it kind of upbeat like that, kind of happy, kind of. And yeah, so they sent us some stuff about that particular episode, so we knew. And they sent us some of the other previous songs that other bands had written, and things, just to give us an idea on, you know, on that. And so yeah, so we wrote it. The interesting thing is that so it's the whole band. Um, it's there's 3 of us,
Mm-hmm.
and the funny thing was they also released it on a soundtrack called the Yellow Album. It was a soundtrack album put together of music from some of the episodes. And when that came out, I guess it was the second time it was released, so
Mm-hmm.
the second pressing of it, um, they forgot to put the music on it. It was just me singing a cappella. And I didn't, it was so, I'm like, I, it was interesting because I went to listen, somehow I played it back on like Amazon or Best Buy or something, because I was like, oh, they have it here. And I go to play our track, and it's just me. And I'm like, when's the music gonna kick in? Like maybe I thought they remixed it or something to
Mm.
like make the music come in later. And it was never there. It was just me the whole time singing a cappella. And so I reached out to our contact there, and I was like, did you know they left the music off the anyway, no one really knows this whole story.
Mm.
And so she's like, oh my gosh, really? They didn't know it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose, it was just an accident. So some of the pressings is just me singing a cappella. And it's just it wasn't planned like that. We didn't do that on purpose. But some of the pressings of the Yellow Album is just me.
That's
And
awesome.
I feel so like uh, I don't know, it's weird without the music and just yourself. You're like, it's a little. I feel a little exposed because it's like the music is
Right.
so much layering, and the vocals are too. I mean, I recorded like a bunch of harmonies for it, so I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's but it's just interesting. And so some people had posted it on YouTube at some point, and they were like trying to figure out why does some of these have music and sometimes it doesn't have music, and I was like, I don't know, it just is an accident, I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. That's the whole story there. But
Sweet. And
yeah,
how long
that
have
was
you been
fun.
doing voiceover?
I think it's 6 years.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
what are some new challenges that you're facing now that you weren't facing 6 years ago?
Um, New challenges.
Yeah, because this
I don't.
this industry is forever evolving.
Yeah,
So,
I
how
don't.
have you had to like address things differently than you did 6 years ago?
Well, now you got me worried that I need to address things different. I don't think I'm doing anything. Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
no, I'm not
sorry.
evolving. Now you put all this pressure on me to evolve, and I don't know. Maybe I don't
Nah,
know.
if what it's not broken, don't fix it, man. Like,
I am. I'm pulling it. I'm pulling this a little closer. I'm trying to get rid of any echo. Um, no, I don't know if I do anything. I mean, I will say I don't record in a closet anymore. I have my
yeah.
own booth. So, I mean, I think things evolve in that way where you kind of change the way you do things as you learn, you know, more and more what's better
Hmm.
for you and what kind of makes sense. But yeah, when I first started out, instead of being in our studio, because the space was so big, it wasn't, I mean, it's not that it's a huge space, but I just mean, it was, I needed like a smaller space that had,
Hmm.
a little more, not completely dead sound, but not as live sound,
Right.
sounding. And so I moved into the walk-in closet, and I was there for the first year and a half, and then got a booth after that finally. And so in that way, I guess I have, that's changed kind of where I'm at. Um, and then I guess I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that, I mean, I still do the same things. I'm a creature of habit, really. I mean, I get comfortable, I guess, doing things a certain way and eating a certain lunch. And I try to, just not rock the boat too much and do what, seems like the right thing. And I just kind of stick with it until something pushes me in a different direction. But yeah, I don't know. What about you?
What
How would
about
you answer?
me?
Yeah, how would you answer how would you I'm just curious. I'm just wondering like
I
how
mean,
things have changed
most
for
of
you.
my changes have been the way that I've been approaching marketing
Mm,
and the types of industries that I've been going into. Because a lot more animation and video games have been created due
yeah.
to the pandemic and things like that. And also the sound is a lot different because we had that little while where it was kind of like that where the pandemic first hit and even the kind of comedic advertising was a little like awkward, you know what I mean? And then things started to slowly get a little more solemn, and then we started getting those new normal scripts, and then things started like slowly coming back to that kind of awkward comedy. And so like there are all these like slopes that follow it. But as far as dubbing goes, I've been trying really hard to get into dubbing, and it seems there's been a lot more saturation in the market. So I've been trying to find new ways to market myself and how to innovate my social media presence, or how it maybe change up the ways that I'm marketing, or things of that nature.
Cool. That's good. So yeah, more of a marketing approach, like how to reach
Hmm.
a different demographic.
How to
If you're,
find
especially if you're
different
switching, or not
avenues.
switching, but focusing on uh, another genre like dubbing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always rotating, so I'll take like 3 weeks where I'm like, this is e-learning time, and so I'll take 3 weeks where I'm marketing to e-learning, and then 3 weeks
Mm,
where I'm marketing to indie video game studios, and then 3 weeks where I'm sending out to more agencies, and then I just kind of rotate it.
yeah. That's
So,
good. That's
what's
good.
you've done a lot of different kinds of voiceover. Is there something that you haven't done that you want to get into?
Good question. Um, I think more live action dubbing would be fun.
Hmm.
And just dubbing, like you were saying in general. So mostly I've done anime dubbing, but I've only done like 3 live action dubbing projects, and I think it would be really fun to do more of that type of work.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess I can't. I mean, I'm sure there's some. That's the cool thing about voiceovers. There's always something new coming up
Hmm.
that's that you hear about, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's something I can do. Like
Oh
people
yeah. Now
voiceover,
all that
like
metaverse stuff is going on, and so there's like a lot more VR roles available.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Which I do like I do like doing VR stuff. I mean, I don't do it that much, but it is fun. Uh, I since I do a lot of AI voices, I'll end up doing virtual reality stuff sometimes for people. I would
Mhm.
like to do more. The project today was another AI voice, and I don't know why. I love doing them so much. It's just finding the right balance of human and computer,
Mhm.
and what they want for their project. How much human do they want? Do they want it completely mechanical and unfeeling and
Mhm.
monotone, or is there a hint of humanity anyway
Right.
in what they're looking for? So it's that I do love doing that a lot, and it would be fun to do more, but it is a decent amount of stuff that I do already, but um, I don't know. Sometimes, but yeah, VR would be another. I haven't done a VR project in a little while. I don't think. Maybe someday again. I
So how do you conduct your marketing?
don't know.
What do you do to reach more people and get more jobs and hop on more rosters, and what does your process look like?
Well, I don't know. Used to I liked networking and oh, the fireworks here. Let me see. Can you see the fire? Oh no, you can't. Darn it. Sorry. I
No,
was trying to.
just your ring light.
Ah. Oh,
That would have been
dang.
awesome. Just fireworks in the background
Oh,
while we're
yeah,
interviewing.
they just did it again. I was trying to show you the second ones, but there's too much glare from the window. Universal has their fireworks shooting off like every hour at Hogwarts, and anyway, they shoot up. Anyway, they just did it again. Now it'll probably be another hour before it does it, and now the ring light's there, and it was so dark over. It's so dark in here. Oh well. Sorry. I tried. Maybe next time, if I know
Maybe
they're
next time.
coming, I'll push that out of the way. And um, okay, marketing
Hmm.
and reaching out, like networking is like honestly a big part of that for me. I think, and like just meeting people, and like conventions and like VO Atlanta, and that's voiceover, and the One Voice conference. Those are honestly the way I prefer to like meet people and you know make connections that way, because I just like talking to people and hearing about kind of what they do, and Um, and it's all fascinating, but the pandemic has not made that super easy,
Yeah.
you know? So, um, so I haven't really done probably as much as I should, but I do have, you know, I keep my demos updated and I send those out to the rosters that I'm on, the updated demos when I get them, just, it kind of lets them know I'm still here and I have some new demos and stuff that are out, and I just try to keep things current, um, and also try to keep updating my demos and add new work to them rather than do a whole new demo. I'll just update a couple of spots that I like that I've done and just update it and send those out. Um, but otherwise, that's about it right now. I mean, I have an amazing manager, um, also who helps, which is good because I'm kind of bad at reaching out to people on a consistent basis.
Hmm.
And I just I'm glad that she's there to help with that because I feel like sometimes I worry too much about, am I bothering people too much? Am I not
Hmm.
bothering them enough? Like, um, so, yeah. So I am glad that kind of since the beginning, I've had someone to help kind of, you know, help with marketing and remind me of things like when it's time to do something or a new demo that I should probably get,
Hmm.
just things like that that I may kind of be too relaxed about sometimes. I don't know. I'm just I'm always so busy, like, and that's the bad thing. It's like if you don't consistently reach out and try to get more work, it's like even though even when you have a lot of work coming in, if you don't have new work coming in, eventually it'll kind of taper off, and then you have these dry spells. So that's why
Hmm.
it's good to do what you're doing. Um, I guess for me, I just get so busy working that I I you know I kind of forget in the long run, it's always good to keep reaching out to people. And that, that work that's coming in, things happen, businesses shift, or new people come on board and they, maybe have a different roster they put together. So, or businesses close down, whether it's from the pandemic not being kind to them or whatever it is, it's so always making new connections is important. So what you're doing is very good. I should probably do more of it, but um yeah, I'm probably not like a poster child for go get him marketing, I guess. I'm not I just like talking to people, you know that's
I mean, that's all marketing really is just talking to people,
yeah
finding
i'm
new
just
people to talk to.
I'm just bad at talking to people like not virtually like this because this is different, but like
Right.
email. It's so
Right.
impersonal. It's just so hard to just I don't know feel like you're having a human conversation. That's why I love like in person kind of ways of meeting people,
Hmm.
and it's just feels more natural to me to do. But I don't know. Yeah.
So whenever you are doing marketing, because I know there's a huge difference between a manager and an agent, and I have an agent, but I do not have a manager. Does your manager take a cut of all the jobs that you end up doing, even if they're not
No,
through your manager?
no, only the ones that I get through them.
Okay.
So no cut of anything else unless it's one that I get through them.
So what are the major differences between a manager and an agency?
Um, well, a manager is typically they're actually a little more. I mean, agents will get auditions in and they'll send them out to the talent on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're being more selective about who, you know, they might say, okay, we're going to send this out to these 20 people because they fit the, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
specs. Or some go ahead and send out a little more broader, you know, broader range of, you know, just send it out to a larger, cast a bigger net, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not like, a manager is a little bit different because they'll actually send out like email blasts to a bunch of different places trying to get more work or get more auditions or get more, not just take the auditions that come in and send them out.
Mm-hmm.
They're sending out stuff on your behalf specifically and saying, you know, here's a new project that she just worked on, check it out, you know, listen to more of her stuff here. And they're following up, and they're actually, so it's a little different. It's just, you know, I'm
Gotcha.
not saying there aren't or there aren't agents that do that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just, but usually I don't know any that do that type of stuff on a regular basis that are actually, you know, that are more like for each person on their roster, sending out a, you know, an email specifically about what you've been doing and check out some of their new stuff and check, you know, it's more like the marketing that I should probably be doing myself, but they do it for me. And I like that because
Yeah.
because I feel like they know what they're doing better than I do when it comes to like reaching out to people um and especially in an email kind of way where I'm more of a talker person. But yeah, so it's just good. It's like and they'll get, it's kind of more also looking out for more rosters to be on, like reaching out to production company. I mean, it's just different. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different kind of approach, um, at least from what I've experienced. You know, between agents and managers. I Now maybe there are some that do, you know, both the management and the agent side of things, but typically I haven't seen that really cross over much. So yeah, she's just looking for more ways to connect with people out there that need voices and knows kind of, I don't know, she is really good like that. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So back to the animation side of things. I
Hmm.
know that there are a lot of like characters that people kind of associate with certain voiceover artists, but what's a character that resonated with you that you've done where you got that script and you were just like, "Oh no, this is me. This character was made for me."
Oh, that's funny. uh mm, well, I think Gigi
Mhm.
was one, even though she was technically a computer,
Mhm.
and not human. She was very human though. Um, and but I don't know why I just connect to those kind of characters a lot. And her in particular, I think, because, well, I mean, I don't know, she was so human at the same time, and having music that was, of course, really, really a, a big, uh, huge thing for like exciting thing to get to do. Um, I'm trying to think of like who's like me. Oh, that's tough. A lot of the characters aren't really like me that much. Oh, because but they are in a way. I mean, they're, you
Mhm.
know, each time I guess they have a little bit of you in
Oh
a
yeah,
way.
you
I
always
mean,
add
you
a
know what
bit
I
of your
mean? Yeah.
personality to the character, right? Right, right, right.
It ends up that way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, oh, that's hard. Trying to think of. I liked Matsumai in Tokyo Ghoul a lot. She was very, like, a very chill character, but very like badass, but very like very contained and very
Mm-hmm.
but she had like a I don't know, she was loyal, but she had this very passionate side to her that I don't know. I really liked that character a lot. I just liked how subtle she was and calm, but efficient and effective. And when she had to be a badass, she was a badass. And I definitely like that. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Rito and Urahara, she was very sweet and funny. And I liked her a lot. I don't know, it's so hard. I mean, oh gosh. Um, I'm trying to look at some new ones here. For some reason, I'm always drawn to the AI ones. I really, now granted, I'm not like a Spider Woman, but
Mhm.
I really did like Khalik in World of Warcraft a lot. Um, the voice was more, it was just different from, you know, what I'd done before. And she's a really, really interesting character, being a creature. I don't do a lot of creature type voices, you know.
Oh, I love doing creature work.
Yeah, yeah. So
Creature
it's
work is so
cool
much
because
fun.
she's a creature. She's not human. I mean,
Hmm.
she's got all these legs and she's very, it's just I don't know. I really like that a lot. But I guess the question is what's kind of like what character was more like me, which I don't know. There really aren't. I don't know. I guess there are some that are very spazzy. I am kind of, like that's me,
Right.
usually. I don't know why. I guess that hike, I feel a little more less energized than I usually am right now,
Mm.
but that was a good hike. But I am kind of like, a little like drained a little bit now than I usually am. But usually, like, yeah, so the high energy characters that are like, you know, um, and then like Xena, I think she was, yeah, that kind of was the way she would just blurt stuff out. That is kind of like me when I'm like really angry or excited
Mm.
or, you know, yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Awesome. So, what is one underrated tool that you feel like is indispensable in your voiceover career?
Oh, that's a good one.
For you, like just one thing that you could not do your job without, other than the
Oh,
stereotypical microphone and pop filter, like just one thing specific to Julie.
well, it's hard because I don't use this on a regular, I don't use it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do use music and not all the time, not every day. But when I feel like I need to get somewhere that I'm not quite there, I will find a song that will take me where I need to be and listen to it while I'm recording. So very quietly. I'll listen to it
Right.
louder first, and then when
Mm-hmm.
I hit record right before that, I'll turn it down. Um, and so if I'm just not like right now, since I'm kind of really like a little tired after the hike, if I needed to go in and do something really high energy, I would listen to something really upbeat and like that would get me back in that tempo of, you know, where right now I'm just kind of like, you
Right.
know, and or sometimes if I need to be brought down a bit and
Mm.
just mellow out a little bit and do some, maybe it's a more somber type voiceover. I'll play something that has a much slower tempo
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in a minor key and just put me in that more solemn mood, and then record. And then it kind of calms you down and takes the voice down into a more,
Mm-hmm.
you know, quieter, soft tone, a little easier. I don't know. I don't do it every day. but it is a big difference. I did that in a
It
session the other
is.
day.
I do
I
that
did it
quite
in,
often. It
yeah.
does make a big difference.
So it's not something just for me, but I don't know if there is anything that's just for one person. I think you know how it is. Like anytime you have this an idea,
Hmm.
there's someone else that had the idea too. It's just
Yeah.
it's just the human. We're all, even though. So I don't think there would probably just be one thing that I just do that someone else is doing it. But
Right, but
and that's fine.
I guess I was
Um
more looking for something that's close to you, which music would be that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, it's good. I did that. I'm trying to think of oh yeah, I was doing a session the other day, and I was like, "Do you have them?" We'd already recorded a take, and but they wanted to they wanted to do something with it. It was I think it was about the tempo, kind of getting it just right.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Well, do you have the music? Can you send it to me?" And he sent it to me, and so I just played it in the background. I if while we record it, and he was like, he'd never heard of that before, and he was like, "Oh my god, do you have any other tricks like that you could tell me about?" Because it just made a big difference,
Hmm.
and when you know what the music is that they're going to pick, it
Oh yeah.
helps you as well, because then oh, now I get it. Okay,
Oh
now
yeah.
now I understand, this is like really high energy here. um and so it's okay to be a little more, uh you know and not announcery, but you
Right.
know just have a little bit more energy, and like a little more sales behind it, like it's okay to really be pushing the product and be pushing this and that,
Right.
because it's like boom, very anyway. And it just worked really well having that music, and a lot of times we don't have that, and we have to then you just have to come up with something on your own that you think fits what the specs are. And
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know, music is really helpful
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no, I'll do that with my agent. Because when I had first made an introduction with my agent when I had first got signed, I asked a lot of questions about like what's his process, who does he send stuff to, et cetera, et cetera. And so how they operate is they will go and they will get like maybe 100 voiceover artists, and they'll pick the top 10 that they think are the best, and then they'll go get the final commercial and play it with the music over it, and then go through and show like the top
Mm,
10 to their clients. And so
mm,
every time I always ask, well, hey, do you have the end product that I can like look at and that I can utilize that music to kind of make sure I'm carrying it the right way? I love
mm.
using music to carry myself.
Yeah, that's good. I never would have thought. I've never asked an agent for the music. Sometimes they'll give it,
Hmm.
but I've never thought to ask it. I guess I just figured if they didn't give it, they don't have it. But I guess if you're getting it a lot, are you
Hmm.
getting it a lot?
Yeah, I get it
Oh, that's good.
about 75% of the time. They
Oh,
send me the music
wow.
for it.
I had no idea.
Hmm.
Well, just learned something new.
So, if you were to be able to write a letter to yourself and send it back into time before you discovered voiceover, what would you
Mhm.
tell yourself?
I would say I would tell myself there's a thing called voiceover that you can
Hmm.
actually do full time. So maybe don't go to school and get a design degree. And even though you like photography, maybe don't start that photography business and just go right into voiceover and focus on that. And yeah, all will be well. Just, yeah. Because I feel like I mean, not that I mean, I liked that little detour that I had
Hmm.
in photography. And I still love doing it, but I just do it for myself now. And I like not having my life planned out a year in advance, and not being able to have the freedom to, you know, travel or to do voiceover jobs that come up. Like, because my previous work as doing photography, I couldn't do. Everything was scheduled out, and so you couldn't just say, oh, this weekend I'm going to go here. Now granted, voiceover would have worked okay in a way, because during the week is typically when your bookings are, and on the weekends is when I would be working.
Mhm.
But so I maybe could have made, and I did make it work for a while. I kind of tapered off one when I started doing voiceover. I kind of had to, I dialed back on, what I had been doing. But but yeah, I would tell old me or young me, I guess, because I would be younger, not older.
Right.
But um to yeah, to just go ahead and dive in a little sooner and not, kind of do that other thing. But it was fun. I mean, it was fun. I'm not saying I regret, you know, doing that, but it would have been nice had I known. I probably would have gone a different direction.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all fun. I tend to just do things that I really love doing anyway, and I love photography. So it wasn't
Mhm.
like it was a, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I
Right.
spent all that time um like being miserable somewhere doing something I didn't
Right.
love, but this I think is more in line. Voiceover is just more in line with me. It's just a little, I don't know what it is. I think it's just it's um it's a little more exciting because you don't know what you're going to be doing each day.
Hmm.
And your life isn't pre-planned out ahead of you, you know. You don't know what project you're going to be working on at any particular time. Um and you never know what booking's going to come in, what audition's going to come in, where it's going to take you. And I think that just fits more of what, I like, what makes me happy.
Hmm.
And and when having a job that your life is planned out like a year in advance, for someone like me that's very like go where the wind blows, kind of, that it can you can feel a little trapped a little bit. But it was, but I don't want to poo poo that, because it was a good life. It was creative. It was fun in that regard.
Hmm.
But it didn't have the freedom, didn't have the freedom that I have now. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.